Everyone loves a good story. And the best ones, well, they're memorable. Some can even teach us a lesson or two. Hey, I've got one today I'll bet you've never heard. I'll get to that story in a minute, but first, let me say welcome to Mornings with Bishop Robert. Thanks for joining me. You know, you're always welcome here. My goal is to introduce people to the Jesus they never knew and help them get to know Him and His Word personally and better. So if our time together today speaks to your heart, would you please let me invite you to like, then subscribe, and then finally share this with a friend. Hey, I've got a parable for you. A parable's a story with a lesson tucked inside. Here it is. A man was standing on the sidewalk in front of his house. He was speaking with his neighbor when a passing truck blew a tire, lost control, and careened towards them both. Well, with his back to the truck, the man was unaware of the immediacy of the danger he faced. But without a moment's hesitation, the neighbor pushed the man as far as he could out of the path of the approaching truck, and it only ran over the man's right leg. His neighbor, however, was struck head on and instantly killed. Well, at the funeral, the man, still on crutches with a broken ankle, approached his neighbor's widow as she and her 2 small children stood next to the casket. "I have no words to alleviate your pain," he said, "but I am forever in your debt, and I will care for you and your family." Well, true to his word, the man brought groceries every week, took care of the yard, purchased their clothing, met every need. College was fully paid as the children grew into adulthood. Cars were purchased, home repairs paid for. Well, a new neighbor, seeing the way the man cared for this family, came over and asked him the reason behind all this extravagant behavior. "Do you have any idea what he did for me?" the man asked. And then he recounted the events of that fateful day and said, "Do you think there is anything they could need that I wouldn't move heaven and earth to provide?" Well, here's the explanation of the parable. You're the man. The truck is your sin, and Jesus is the neighbor. He purchased your life at the price of His own. Sure, you might be walking with a limp, but you're walking. And the full price for your sin has been paid by another. So for a second, ask yourself a question. Since that's true, shouldn't the way you choose to live your life be impacted by Jesus' actions? You know, the man in the parable chose to live his life in a way that demonstrated his true gratitude every day. His life demonstrated his love and his respect for the neighbor's sacrifice. Since God loved us, I'd suggest that we're inescapably drawn to 2 conclusions. First, we ought to love Him. I mean, such an amazing sacrifice demands our acknowledgement and our response. Second, we ought to live a life that demonstrates our gratefulness. The way God puts it, by the way, is that we also ought to love our neighbor. That's it. That's everything God calls us to do and to be in 6 words that a child can understand. Love God and love your neighbor. So let's you and I live lives of such extraordinary love and compassion that people are, well, they're compelled to ask us, why do we do what we do as we love God and love our neighbor? And then our answer can begin with the question from this morning's parable. Do you have any idea what He did for me? Well, that's all we've got time for today. But before you go, could I please ask you to help me introduce people to the Jesus they never knew? Help them get to know him and his word personally and better. Please like this video. Really does help more people see it. And then click follow or subscribe so that you and I can get together every single day. Hey, if you'd like to get a free copy of my book, Count to One, God's Plan for Christian Unity, just click the link in the description and you'll be able to download a copy to your inbox. And one more thing. Share this with a friend, would you? Because as you do, well, you're a part of the team, touching hearts all over the world with the love of Jesus. Thanks for helping.